Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Nostalgia Glasses. It's been a while. It's been a long while. I've been plagued with just problems recording, and I kind of gave up for a while. I kind of decided, you know what, screw it, I'm done for a while. We're taking a little bit of a break. That break turned out to be about a fucking year. I'm not very happy with it. But welcome back to another episode, a brand new episode of Nostalgia Glasses, I mean to say. Today we're playing a classic from the Game Boy Advance era. With Metroid Dread coming out on the Switch here in just a couple months, I figured now would be a great time to do an episode on Metroid Fusion. The Game Boy Advance era. With Metroid Dread coming out on the Switch here in just a couple months, I figured now would be a great time to do an episode on Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion, otherwise known as Metroid 4, was released in 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. It was the first Metroid game to be released in a staggering 8 years, the last being Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo. Metroid Fusion was released with critical acclaim, earning 9s, 10s, and even 5 stars from multiple sources. It even received several accolades, including Handheld Game of the Year in 2002. Fusion starts off with our intrepid hero, Samus Aran, as she's exploring the surface of planet SR-388 with the Biologic Space Laboratories crew, when she's attacked by an unknown parasitic organism now known as the X-Parasite. On her way back to the BSL station, Samus loses consciousness and her ship crashes. After her escape pod releases, her body is recovered and transferred to the Galactic Federation HQ, where she undergoes a harrowing surgery to help save her life. The only thing that saved her life was the vaccine created from the baby Metroid that Samus adopted on planet SR-388. After she recovers consciousness, she discovers that an explosion occurred on the BSL station, and she was sent to investigate. And here is where the story of Metroid Fusion begins. Samus, with her brand new fusion suit, brand new ship, and a new gunship computer, and now the adventure can begin. When you first explore the BSL station, you notice how quiet it is. There's no music playing, just the sound of Samus's footsteps as you walk down the hallways. Once you reach the navigation room, your computer informs you of the explosion located in the quarantine bay. As you make your way to the quarantine bay, the music begins. And an ominous feeling washes over you. Navigating through the dark hallway, fearful of what lurks in the shadows. And that right there is one of the things that makes Metroid Fusion unique from most other Metroid games. The feeling of fear, the feeling of isolation, knowing you're all alone in this station with no one to help you. Well, no one living, that is. After checking the quarantine bay, you make your way back to the navigation room, where your computer is waiting and briefs you on what happened in the bay, warning you not to let the X-Parasites into the breeding environments on the station, and notifying you of a spot where large biosigns are present. This may very well be your chance to terminate the X entirely. Metroid Fusion is filled with these moments. Moments of the navigational computer telling you what to do and where to go. It's one of the things that makes Fusion stand out from most of the other games in the Metroid series. The biggest one being how linear of a game Fusion is. Sequence breaking can happen, but it's rare. Speedrunners have learned how to do that over the years. But all-around exploring really can't be done to a massive degree until the end game. After defeating the Arachnus, a returning enemy from Metroid 2, you gain your Morph Ball ability back. Once you reach the navigation room, the computer, who I'll now refer to as Adam, informs you of a breach in the breeding environments. Samus makes her way to the environments when another explosion occurs. a new threat, and another thing to fear. But what is this new threat? That is the SAX, otherwise known as the Samus X. An X organism took over parts of Samus's old suit and created a new monster. Another new fear. On multiple occasions, you'll run into the Samus X. Adam tells you not to fight the monster, so you hide, cowering in fear at the monster that is just below your feet. You hear the echoing, monstrous footsteps. Shaking in your boots, you freeze with fear. Unable to move. Unable to blink. Just breathe and let the monster leave the room. That's just one example of how Metroid Fusion puts fear into you. The fear of being noticed by the Samus X. The fear of being attacked and possibly killed by the monster. Fusion really puts fear into perspective throughout your playthrough of the game. And this won't be the first time you run into this terrifying creature. The bosses in Metroid Fusion are another example of fear. Dragon-like snakes that zip past you with a strange-looking mono-eye parachute mouth thing. And of course, one of the worst if you're afraid of spiders. The Yakuza Spider Demon. Ugh. Another big theme with Metroid Fusion is the feeling of isolation. Samus is trapped alone in this huge space station with no other living organisms to accompany her. Biosigns are found at multiple points throughout the journey, but turn out to be nothing more than the X. At some points, you even see the bodies of scientists on the ground. That's when you realize just how alone you truly are. But yet, in the end, there's hope. After defeating the monstrous bosses and saving some familiar friends, the journey is almost to its end. Being advised by Adam that just simply blowing up the station won't stop the X-parasites, but you should drop the entire station down in the SR-388's orbit, completely obliterating the threat. Once you reach the operations deck, you're confronted by the SAX one final time, showing a monstrous new form. Samus is victorious, and as the X-Core flies away, it's now time for Samus to initiate the destruction of the station. Samus heads back to where her ship is supposed to be, but alas, it's not there. Suddenly, the Omega Metroid bursts through the wall, and the fear sets in again. How can you combat this monster? You can't even damage it. After the Omega Metroid swipes at Samus, she's down to her last bit of health, broken and alone. You're overcome with fear yet again. And then, a familiar sight. The Samus X sacrifices itself for your survival, and Samus takes down the Omega Metroid and escapes the station. Watching as it crashes down on the surface of the planet, hope was given to the galaxy once again, whether they knew it or not. And that's it. That's Metroid Fusion. The game is a bit shorter than I had anticipated or even remembered, but back when I was a kid, I had a really hard time actually beating the game. To be completely honest, I was stuck on Yakuza, the Spider Demon boss, whatever you want to call him, for the longest time as a kid. Not to mention, that's the boss that kind of gave me the creeps as a kid too. So before I get off on too big of a tangent, which I feel like this video already has, Metroid Fusion made me feel a lot of things while playing through the game. One of the biggest ones that I remember in my first ever playthrough as a kid was seeing the Samus X for the first time. Its cold, dead eyes made me feel genuine fear and anxiety. When you first saw the Samus X after the big explosion that it caused, no music, just silence as you hear its thundering footsteps below you. Or when you had to run from it in Sector 2. It gave me genuine fear as a child. And quite honestly, genuine fear as an adult. It made me feel anxious. And I haven't felt like that since I was a kid. In all honesty, it was a beautiful moment. And that's why I wanted to make this video today. Guys, that's really all I have to say about Metroid Fusion. I hope you enjoyed the video, even if it was a bit different from my other Nostalgia Glasses episodes. I mean, might as well try something new, right? Well guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of my videos. And check out my photography website if you guys want. Check out my Twitch. I'll probably stream eventually on Twitch. I'm thinking about doing Metroid Zero Mission next, so that's pretty exciting, right? Be sure to check out everything down below in the description, you guys. And if you want to support me, buy a print or two off my website. So, with that in mind, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Nostalgia Glasses.